My name is Luis Juliana Cacho and I will be discussing the world-renowned visual artist and performing arts. So first, who is George Frederick Handel? George Frederick Handel's father did not want him to be a musician, but upon the advice of a nobleman, he finally consented to let the boy study clavier and organ. At Iden, Handel went to Hamburg, where he came in contact with Italian operas with German texts. He became a court composer in Rome, Florence, and Naples. He wrote the most famous of all oratorios, Messiah. Handel's opera are characterized by the use of mainly high voices with roles for basses, generally being assigned to rulers or old men. Only later does the tenor voice begin to feature regularly. Next is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He was born in Salzburg, Austria in 1756. In 1762, his father took him to Germany, Paris, and London. Mozart showed prodigious ability from his earliest childhood. Already competent on keyboard and violin, he composed from the age of 5 and performed before European royalty. In 1770, he wrote the entire score of Miserere by Gregorio Allegri in Rome. He earned the highest praise for his talents as performer, improviser, and composer. He composed 49 symphonies, over 40 concertos, 25 violin and clarinet pieces, 7 string quintets, and 26 string quartets. His other finest work in opera include The Magic Flute and Jupiter's Symphony. He also wrote Requiem and unfinished work. He stayed in Vienna where he achieved fame but little financial security. During his final years there, he composed many of his best-known symphonies, concertos, and operas. His Requiem was largely unfinished by the time of his death at the age of 35, the circumstances of which are uncertain and much mythologies. His most famous compositions included the motet, Exsultate, Jubilate, K165 in 1773, the operas The Marriage of Figaro, 1786, and Don Giovanni, 1787, and the Jupiter Symphony in 1788. Let's now proceed to Johann Strauss II. Johann Strauss II was a violinist, conductor, and composer. He was the eldest son of Johann Strauss, a famous composer and conductor and known as the father of waltz. At the age of 6, he composed his first waltz. At the age of 19, he organized his own orchestra which performed some of his compositions. He resigned as court conductor in 1870 to devote himself to the composition of the operas. He wrote more than 100 polkas, 150 waltzes, 70 quadrilles, marches, and galops. His famous waltzes include Lagoon Waltz, Gypsy Baron, A Night in Venice, Roses from the South, and Voices of Spring. One of the most famous waltzes of all time of Johann Strauss II is the Blue Danube Waltz. We also have Johann Sebastian Bach. He is an orphan at an early age. Johann Sebastian Bach was introduced to music by an older brother who procured for him a scholarship in St. Michael's School in Lüneburg. During his lifetime, he held 5 positions. He was an organist, a court conductor, and a composer of several chamber music and concertos, among others. In 1722, he became a cantor in Leipzig, the position he held for the rest of his life. In 1707, he married his cousin, Maria Barbara Bach. After her death, he married Anna Magdalena Wilken. Of Bach's 20 children, 3 sons became famous musicians. Bach died poor, leaving cantatas, concertos, and symphonies. Some of Johann Sebastian Bach's compositions are Brandenburg Concertos, the Well-Tempered Clavier, and the Mass in B minor. So that's all my report about. Thank you for listening.